welcome back. We're here with the grand finals of the GitGud NA Expert Division. This is the creme de la creme, as you put it, of the GitGud tournament in NA. It's the best of the best of the best as we get into Scuffed Ass Gamers versus Apollo Esports. Brought to you, of course, by ExpressVPN. Great VPN. Go check it out. You'll support them and support Elo Help Esports as well. I am K-Wing, and I'm here with Shy Guy. Shy Guy, these two teams are some of our best teams.
Theoretically, they should be like our two best teams, like completely at the very top. They are the last two standing when it comes down to the bitter end tier. And you know, last in our previous series of the night, we did see kind of a little bit of an unexpected result as Azure Eagles Academy was able to kind of change the course of history after falling 0-3 in the upper bracket final. They changed it up. They got the 3-0 sweep. Now it's time for Apollo to see if they can pull off a similar stunt here up against Scuffed Ass Gamers, who, you know, up to this point in the tournament have really not been all that challenged. They lost one map in the very first match that they played in the opening round up against Reverse, who did end up going on a genuine like run through the lower bracket, got to the lower bracket finals before they fell to Apollo in 5 maps. But you know, for the most part, Scuffed Ass Gamers have just been anything but scuffed. They have, you know, run roughshod over most of this tournament, including Apollo Esports in that upper bracket final. 3-0 was the scoreline there, and you know, it's going to take another really impressive turnaround like the one we saw from Azure earlier today out of Apollo to try and, you know, just flip the script a little bit here.
Absolutely. I mean, these two teams, it's telling when Scuffed Ass Gamers, the only thing that they have, the last time they dropped a map was in round 1 of the tournament against Reverse. That was the last time they dropped a map. And, you know, if you haven't dropped a map in 2 matches, that's pretty impressive, especially when we're getting into the higher brackets of the tournament. So let's see the squads that made that possible as we get into Apollo Esports versus Scuffed Ass Gamers. Let's look at these two. Just very impressive teams. And DPS for Apollo Esports, you got Golden, you got CVG, Tanks, Papa Joe, and Pork. Up the support, you have Nineheart and Hojin. Meanwhile, on Scuffed Ass Gamers, you got Zsor and Raz on the DPS, Koala and BTL5 on the tanks, and Domly and Origin rounding us out with the supports. So, Shy Guy, what of these players, who do you think we have to look out for that clutch potential, that X factor that's going to either carry Scuffed Ass Gamers to a victory or help Apollo Esports get an upset?
You know, in the current meta and generally in like Overwatch metas across the board, my eyes are always like kind of drawn towards the main tanks as the ones who will be setting the pace, especially when we are playing at this like expert level. I think more often than not, the team that finds the most success is going to be the one that's like setting the tempo, and your main tank is obviously such a huge part of that is always where my eyes tend to go. You know, so for the side of Scuff, that's BTL5, and then over for Apollo, we will be, you know, keeping an eye out on Papa Joe as well. So like this is really an important matchup to keep an eye out for. But the other thing, you know, looking at these rosters to note here is that Nineheart is coming in as a sub here for Apollo Esports. They don't have their normal main support in the lineup here tonight, and that can be a serious blow. It really depends on like what role they typically have their you know main support playing in terms of their comp structure. Like a lot of teams have that Lucio player like as the person calling a lot of the shots for your team. And if that's the case, then like Apollo Esports have suffered a serious blow here. And not to say that ever having to play with a sub is a good thing, but hopefully for them, they're able to kind of like fill in the gaps when it comes to that particular position. We'll see what Nineheart can really get done coming in as the sub, but it's definitely something that kind of even further tilts the scales a little bit towards Scuffed Ass Gamers here tonight.
Absolutely. You have a pretty important disadvantage as we get into our first map, which is going to be Lijiang Tower. Lijiang Tower, we saw it in our first game. To me, it's a bit of a microcosm of what the series is going to be. You get to see a lot of different compositions, and you get to see which teams are more comfortable on each. We're starting off on Control Center. So what comps are we going to see here on the Control Center?
I mean, hopefully it's not what we got in our previous series with the Pharah dive coming out from Kylan. Like, I'm hoping we just get the Brawl v Brawl here, because like time has proven out, I think, in Overwatch that is generally like the superior way to play on this first map. We are actually going to have to wait a little bit while we had to remake the lobby real quick. So I'm not even sure that we will necessarily be starting out on the Control Center. So we'll see. But when it comes to that map, you definitely want to see those Reinhardt-based comps. And you can fill in the gaps around that with a lot of different stuff right now. Like as far as the DPS go, you'll be seeing, alternatively McCree's, Reapers, Maze, Symmetra can be like very viable, especially on these control maps where you want to get out of spawn quickly and take up position either on the point or like in the high ground. Junkrat is really good on Control Center as well, but that has been, I would say, like the predominant style like across the board when it comes to this GitGud tournament has been the rush from like the rookie divisions all the way up through expert. It's a comp that is on some level like simple to execute, and the win conditions are fairly straightforward, but it still has a lot of potential like upside if you can run it at a high level. So like even on maps like where we actually will be starting out this series, Garden, it's definitely still like a viable choice. You can force the rush here if that is like the style that your team wants to go for. And I think from what I've seen from Scuffed Ass Gamers, that does indeed seem to be their comp of choice.
Interesting composition from Apollo Esports. I'm not talking about the Wrecking Ball. I'm talking about the 5 players. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, and if we're going to be getting
a pause coming our way. Like I'm just I'm assuming that's there we go. So we'll get the player back in here. That is going to be the off tank there for Apollo Esports. So we should be able to get Pork back into the lineup. Indeed, they've joined back into the game. So we'll be underway shortly. But as we do kind of prepare for this, Apollo, like you point out, they've got 5 players right now, but they are also coming out with a comp that could be a thorn in the side of Scuffed Ass Gamers here. Papa Joe on the Wrecking Ball for the time being is definitely something that can find a lot of value in these open spaces of gardens and can be really proactive in terms of disrupting the enemy team and forcing them to split their attention in multiple directions.
I absolutely agree, and I think that it's going to be up to Papa Joe to make those plays and be smart, because when you're playing Wrecking Ball, it's a very fine line between disrupting the enemy team and completely disrupting the numbers of your team and just kind of feeding ultimates. You got a lot of health, and you can use it to tank some shots and get in and get out quick, or you can use it to just give 600 HP of ult charge to your enemy, to the enemy team. And I think it's going to be up to Papa Joe to toe that line, to make sure he's not feeding as we get unpaused here and we get ready to see these compositions come out. Pork, if we're going to go onto the Sigma, onto the Zarya, in fact, in a composition most people call Super Monkey Bubble, which I like.
Yeah, for sure. And then on the other side, Scuffed Gamers, they're going for the traditional brawl. And in fact, Apollo do kind of swap over to that at the tail end. They do have Golden in on the Echo, which can take advantage of the space here on Gardens in particular. But by and large, they do have a very similar look to what Scuffed Gamers are bringing to the table. Both teams going to take up position on the point to kick us off.
Oh no, the Maywall! It's gonna take down. It's going to cut off Papa Joe, who will go down, but already that's a huge anti-nade that came out from reset, and it might just win them the fight, as both the support members are just rendered useless for a few seconds, and BTL5 will fall. Koala is going to get DMAC'd, Origin will get hit with the anti-nade and get taken down again, and that was just one off the back of reset, or also known as we saw him on the roster sheet, a different name, of course, would be Hojin, but I'm going to call him Lucette.
Yeah, we'll keep it with what is listed in game as Scuffed. Coming back in here, already getting quite a bit of space on the point. They might even get the cap before a contest can come through. It is Papa Joda to get in from the back, and now the ice block there as well.
Oh no, CVG is actually going to go down. Here comes the High Noon CVG. CVG going to go down. Before that High Noon going to come out, Raz will get hit with the anti-nade. Lucette is just absolutely hitting these clutch anti-nade in times where it seems like maybe Apollo Esports should be losing. They win off of those anti-nades. They've been absolutely massive.
I mean, it's all because of the way that they're playing these fights. They're very spread out. You saw Papa Joe was on a completely different angle from the rest of the team as that fight kicked off, and it forces Scuffed Gamers you've got to look in all these different directions. Your head is being pulled, and that makes it easy for Lucette to find the right chance for the Bionade.
That it does the High Noon. Papa Joe's going to try to get the charge in. Here comes the Shatter. It'll only find 9 heart, which is a pretty good deal if you've already lost your Reinhardt and don't have many shields. Zor on this May just going to dominate. Raz going to use, I believe the High Noon popped out, but Raz is actually going to get a multi-kill as Scuffed will take back the point.
No, indeed, and now they've got the Blizzard as well to carry them into this next fight. I mean, they did that pretty much perfectly in terms of execution. The only ult they have to use is the Deadeye and then the Shatter. So they still have a ton to work with going into this fight, and they drew ults out of their opposition as well. So this is definitely a strong position for Scuffed Gamers to try and make a comeback.
Oh, but the Shatter is going to come in. It'll find 3, but the Blizzard makes sure that no one can come in. The Fire Strike will catch out Lucette. Golden will fall off the map, and Apollo Esports, they're going to have to retreat from the point as time's going to tick up for Scuffed, but there goes Zor. Reinhardt going to get that boop on the Lucio.
No, indeed, but again, we're seeing really good defensive positions here for Scuffed to work with.
Oh, what? Lucette, no! Lusette's gonna go down. Domly will get that first pick. Raz will fall though, and Golden and Park will both get some picks of their own. And now Wall will come up just to protect Zor, but last fight territory here for Scuffed Gamers as Apollo retake the point.
Certainly, and crucially they're getting towards those tank ultimates. Golden's going to be able to use the adaptive circuits as well to potentially copy. I think someone like BTL5 would be the ideal choice. Maybe Zor to get that May, but use it very early on the McCree, and he's just going to get focused out of that form immediately.
Absolutely, but the Shadow is going to find 3. The Grab will catch a few more, and it's just everyone there, and no one can even touch the aggression from Apollo Esports. Stop Scuffed from being able to even sniff that point at the end, and they will take our first round, going into our second round map, which is going to be Night Market.
Certainly, I mean, I really liked the way that Scuffed Gamers tried to approach that fight. They saw the threat that was Golden off on the flank and tried to kind of punish that positioning, but it just left them unable to really do anything as far as contesting the point. And now they'll have to try and find kind of an alternate approach here as we go over towards Night Market, we'll see the Symmetras in both lineups. Both teams looking to go for the TP, presumably up to the high window, both with double shield comms, but Pork on the Winston versus Koala on the Orisa is going to be
Zsword just throws a mine at the teleporter because the Scuffed Gamers got there first. Immediately just gets like 50% ult charge. I want a clip of that. I want to frame it. That was wow.
I mean, that's the value of the Junkrat that we see there, and you know, even going further into this map, Scuffed are going to have great setup for the use of that Junkrat. The Orisa Halt can do so much work in terms of clumping up targets, finding a lot of damage, and Zsword going to be getting up to that first Riptire very early on here.
Oh, and there it is. It's already there. They tried to use a teleporter, but they did not learn from last time that Zsword is going to come in with the mine, with the Riptire already going to come in, and already there goes Golden. That's an early pick. Not going to be able to do anything, but the shatter from Apollo Esports from Papa Joe going to get some people on the ground. It will result in a lot of picks, and somehow I thought it was misguided, but the investment of the shatter turned out well for Apollo, and they take the point pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, Shatter is one of those ults that, like, when it hits, it hits, and like it's not easy to execute against the double shield of Scuffed Gamers, but Papa Joe finds the angle there to set the team up, and they needed it in that situation. Otherwise, they were, you know, staring down the barrel of a bit of a snowball here. Now they're back in control, and they've got the space to work with.
That they do, but Zsword's just getting so much charge, so much value off of this Junkrat. They call it the J silly, but Zsword is just entirely serious, as he's already almost up to that Riptire again, but he's trying to get there. That last few percentage, Papa Joe is on a rampage with the Reinhardt, and he will get the point back with his team.
Certainly, and you know, Papa Joe will have the shatter once again here to try and be the difference maker for Apollo Esports if they can find the right setup. That TP creates some interesting possibilities. If someone can use it well, Golden tries to go for the punch through it. They will eliminate it before the fight kicks off. So here's the chance, the Tire coming in from the back.
Tire, it's gonna get a double kill. The Shatter will come in, but the Immortality field is there to protect everyone else. The Doomfist will come in, they're low. It's gonna be a matter of if they can survive long enough to get the heals. The Doomfist is gonna come in, and Golden's just gonna get nuked off the face of the map. And 80% its last fight territory. Apollo Esports, they only really need to win one more fight here, but Scuffed Gamers, they're climbing it back.
No, indeed they are. You know, the Riptire was good. It finds just the right timing before the Immortality field can come out from Lucette on the other side, and now things are a bit reset for both of these teams. Scuffed Gamers will have some ults to work with. Those 2 damage amp ults in the form of the Matrix and the Supercharger still available for this team.
That it does. Here comes the Shatter, but it's gonna get immediately blocked by BTL5. Just has what they need. Here comes the slam from Pork. Not gonna find many kills from it, but Zsword is just there to get all the damage and all the kills. Gonna get taken up by Golden. Golden's playing this incredibly. Golden might just be able to turn this around, but the Sim turrets might actually take him down. He will be okay, but very, very low. They're going to get it. Golden. Impossible victory for Apollo Esports, and now Scuffed Gamers. They have to run back quick.
I don't think they're even going to have a chance here because this Orisa getting melted immediately. There's no Wrecking Ball in sight to be able to get on here for a last-second touch unless like Lucio can sneak around the edge to maybe make something.
CBG pushed up so far there just to try and delay anyone from getting onto the point, and he does. Apollo Esports going to go up 1-0. I mean, you know, we've seen crazy things, and Donnelly with the Lucio play of the game. I always love some Lucio plays of the game. Love to see. Oh, the rollout. Sick rollout. Gonna come in. Oh, goodbye.
That's
goodbye.
Dirty.
Disgusting. Dirty. Runs away. Wow. Impressive.
impressive, but ultimately not all of that meaningful here for Scuffed Gamers as they drop map number 1. As we mentioned earlier, the first map that they have lost since the opening round of the tournament. Like this is not the situation they probably expected to find themselves. And once again, we are starting to see a reversal of fortune like start to come into play here in this second series of the day. It's Apollo Esports trying to get their revenge this time around, and they do exactly that with a really well executed map there on Lijiang.
That they do, and we have a swap coming in from Apollo Esports. Their main support is here, and they are not going to have to use the sub anymore. In comes Risu for Apollo Esports, switching out for 9heart, doing incredibly well considering that, coming into the ring are very, very tough because you don't have the synergy that you don't have the synergy that you would have if you've played with this team throughout a tournament, throughout a group phase. You don't have that synergy, but the ability to play, hats off to 9heart. Good job. And now Risu coming in to pick up where 9heart left off. But before we look at that, let's look at a comparison between Papa Joe and BTL5 as the Reinhardts. Just
look at that damage.
Look at that damage. That's a lot of damage.
That's pretty wild. Like a disparity that big in such a short time is really, really impressive there from Papa Joe. Like it makes a certain extent of sense. Like you're the team that's winning always typically in Overwatch going to have better stats, but like that is on another level there. That is nearly double the damage done over the course of those 2 rounds. So you can see the difference in the numbers there for Apollo Esports, and that's not to say that we're not trying to flame BTL5 or anything. Like it's not poor play, but Papa Joe, between that shatter that blew things wide open on Night Market, and the way that they were just consistently finding value on some kind of unorthodox angles was really impressive to me. Apollo Esports have clearly come to play this time around, and they find themselves with an early advantage in this series.
That they do, and now Scuffed Gamer is going to take us to Route 66, where they're going to get their kicks. And they're going to see if they can take back this series and start to turn things around. They got off to a pretty, not a great start. They wouldn't want this at first, but now getting into Route 66, what do you think that they want? What do you think they're trying to accomplish with this?
This is very interesting because truly, I just haven't seen much of this map very much recently at all. It feels like pretty much every series we see goes to Rialto for map number 2. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what this will entail. For the most part, I think the predominant comps are still going to be Rush. It's not going to change the style too dramatically here. I mean, there's definitely always some options to change things up, especially when it comes to those DPS picks, and that's exactly what we're getting out of Apollo here. They've got the Doomfist for Golden, which granted did a ton of work there on map number 1 at times, but CVG on the Widowmaker is going to be very interesting to see just what kind of value they can get out of this long-range DPS, and if their front line will suffer at all for it, as if they can't necessarily find the picks you need out of that sniper.
That they are, and now Papa Joe and the rest of Apollo Esports, they're playing right in this tunnel. And the pin! What? Papa Joe just drops out and just shows Koala and says who's your daddy, and hits Papa Joe. Just really stylish on that charge, and an immediate first fight win for Apollo Esports on this close hold.
Yeah.
disgusting horde.
That almost seems like a thing that they were prepared for Scuffed as gamers to go, send just the D.Va to the cart, and the rest of the team was a little bit split off. So the charge works out well, and now Apollo Esports they settle in for the rest of this hold. Another nice pick there.
Oh my gosh, Donnelly just... No, it's just so disgusting. Golden is going to go down, but they'll trade for Origin. The closer spawns will serve Scuffed Ass Gamers. They'll get there first, but not with all of these picks coming in for Apollo Esports. They're still holding.
They're at their spawn door. Look at this.
No, you can't do this. You can't just sit by a spawn door, wait for them to come out. He's not going to do the bumper shatter. He's not going to do the bumper shatter. He does it. He does the bumper shatter. He just comes up behind, says, knock, knock, how are you doing? It's me, Papa Joe. And that's another fight. A minute and a half gone, and this card hasn't even moved a meter.
The pure confidence that this guy is playing with us is a sight to behold right now. Scuffed as gamers reeling a little bit here. They've got some ults to work with the Blizzard, their shatter of their own. Raz finds the opener with the Deadeye, so finally a little bit of breathing room here for Scuffed as gamers.
You say breathing room, and you would think that you'd be exaggerating, but really, if they were any closer, I feel like Papa Joe would be swinging his hammer through the spawn doors, because to say that was a close hold would be an under-exaggeration. It would just be a disservice if we see Sig just waiting for this. Here comes a fork on the D.Va. Has this D.Va bomb, could potentially the pin. It's going to come back and flick the D.Va bomb on top of Big Earls, but it's not going to land exactly where they want, right on the edge there. The beat from Donnelly, there's just so much in the double kill, D.Va bomb, and the remake kill! Sig getting killed by the remake, and Koala just dominating on this D.Va as this card's gonna finally get moving.
Yeah, I mean, the downside for Apollo there is like you're engaging so aggressively, you're creating this very chaotic fight, but Koala able to capitalize on it with the self-destruct, very well placed. And now Papa Joe getting focused down on the recontest is going to be really tough for Apollo to make anything of it.
Origin will fall, but there's no one else there. Oh, CVG gets both the supports, and just there's no one else. All the other picks are going to go the way of Scuffed Ass Gamers, and they get point A.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem with the Widowmaker as a pick is, like, I mean, obviously that situation was really tough. Like, it was a last-second recontest. They were desperately trying to get onto the cart. So, not that CVG did anything wrong there, but, like, even when you find those picks, sometimes it just doesn't happen fast enough. Like, your team can lose the frontline fight before you really even get to have your impact.
That is a rough time for CVG, because that was a very, very good play, taking down both the supports, and would be a fight winner if it happened earlier in the fight. But now, Papa Joe going to get caught out by the May, going to get caught out by the rest of Scuffed Ass Gamers, trying to escape over the garbage can. He just can't hop as long as he wants. Going to try and use the shatter to get out of it. He's just going to get shattered and frozen and high noon. Golden will get a pick, but it just won't be enough. They'll actually get two. There won't be enough. He's going to commit the Meteor Strike. They're not... I don't think they're done. Here comes the Doomfist, going to get the pick onto the May, and now BTL5 very, very low, so low, but going to survive somehow.
Yeah, I mean, that's Koala on the D.Va. The Matrix there is so crucial. They even commit the sound barrier to make sure that they can sustain through this fight and secure point B. I like that decision. A lot of teams would try to greedily kind of hang on to that, but you've got time to build back up towards ultimates, and nothing that Apollo Esports can do to slow them down right now.
Goodbye, Golden. That's true. Golden going to fall early, and the Zarya is very much in danger of getting caught out. Here comes the rush onto the Zarya, but Papa Joe charges in, going to get the Immortality Field, will survive that. Just barely going to survive it. Here comes the Graviton. It'll catch BTL. There's a with him.
Yeah, that'll be enough. Like, they're gonna do a good job of like hunting down these kills towards the tail end of the fight, you know, to make sure that even though the shatter or the grab only gets on to one, it ultimately winds up being very valuable. And again, we're back to the spawn door shenanigans, and Papa Joe, this might be a bit too far.
The shenanigans are just real with this team. They're just playing so crazy. They're getting the picks, but with Lucette going down, it's not good. Papa Joe gonna go for the pin, but he's gonna leave his team to get shattered, but there's just no one to follow up. BTL5 will get taken down, and they're gonna hold the point.
Yeah, as Scuffed as gamers, like, I don't think you can get baited into committing your big ultimates towards a fight that happens at the spawn door and ultimately won't really do all that much for winning you this map. You need to be able to push out and take this space without committing all of your biggest tools.
You do. Here comes the high noon. CBG is going to go down, and the grab will come out, but nothing much will come from it. Only on the Lucio going to try and get in that damage and the healing, which is what Lucio does. The DMAC going to come in on the quality, going to use the self-destruct for the remake, as it's right in the middle of this fight. And now the stall gonna have to come in from Apollo, but CBG going down early is not what you want when the stall happens. Already some people over on that right side. They're pretty grouped up. They're gonna have to try and take the fight. Papa Joe has the shatter, gonna use it. It'll get 3. Oh, C-Sword got stunned out of the blizzard. C-Sword, no. The blizzard just gets stunned out. The Dragon Strike will come out, but there's nothing to combo it with. No Graviton. And it won't get any kills because of it. I don't know how Lucette survived that on the Baptiste, but regardless, Lucette just trying to stay alive in this D.Va, actually going to live and DMAC the D.Va. That's incredible. And kill D.Va. That was some movement. That was some moves from Lucette.
Yeah, great stuff there in that fight. You know, from Apollo Esports, you know, keeping their supports, you know, isolated from the main clump of Scuffed ass gamers, so they were able to trade really effectively there. And now Apollo, they are a little bit light on ultimates, and they lose their BAP really early on here. This is gonna be tough.
That it is. Here comes the beat from Rizu. It'll get most, but there goes Origin. There goes everyone. They're just caught in the grab. The high noon will find Risu, but it's gonna be the only person. No, Sig, don't go the hammer. Don't get the hammer. No, don't disrespect them like that. He won't. Neither will Scuffed ass gamers finish this map. They're gonna be just short of that ending point. And now Apollo Esports, they know what they have to do to get to match point.
Yeah, I mean, this is your opportunity to really just like seize control of this series. You're in the driver's seat at this point. Like, it wasn't like the greatest defense ever, but you have a win condition. You can put this away right now, give yourself that 2-0 lead, and, you know, secure a really, really commanding position to work with from the rest for the rest of the series. And, you know, despite my doubts, I mean, CBG was popping off on the Widowmaker, really had their moments, even in like that final area of the map. Eventually they swapped off of it, but they were finding value throughout the course of Route 66, which is really, really impressive. It's not an easy thing to do right now in this current meta to really be able to make your impact felt on Widowmaker, but CVG doing it so far here, and probably going to be going back to that pick once again, it seems like.
Well, you see it there. I mean, they could switch in this last 5 seconds. That doesn't look like they will. I think it is probably going to be good for this offense more than the defense, because you have the ability to, on Widowmaker on offense, if you get a good pick, it's a lot easier to snowball. As we get into seeing CVG on this Widow taking some duels with the D.Va, just putting some pressure on. And now they're on this train. They're taking an interesting strategy here, which is they're going to try and just push through, and the charge onto Domley will take down. Charge onto Domley. Papa Joe is going to take down, but he's caught out. He just doesn't have anything he can do. Origin's actually going to get caught out.
Oh no, he can't get out of this.
He should not be allowed to live. He will not be allowed to live, but the picks will come in for Apollo Esports, and they will because they have these close spawns, when you have a lot closer spawns and the fight's about even, it's a win for the people with closer spawns. Oh, Lizette gets
some time bought there for Scuffed Gamers, though. Like a minute of the clock gone here on Route 66, so not bad for that forward hold that they were going for. And they do, force CVG to get off of the Widowmaker. The pressure coming in from Koala, kind of forcing them to go to a pick that's a little bit more self-sustainable.
Oh, Papa Joe tries for the charge and just gets melted down like an ice cream on a hot summer day, as Pork will fall as well. That's both the tanks, but Raz, both the DPS for Scuffed Gamers are going to go down. Conley will find CVG. Here comes the Blizzard from Golden. Won't find anyone, but the window going to get so much damage, but they'll just run through it. That's not great for Lucette. You're going to use that really, really important ultimate and not get much out of it, but Papa Joe's engaging. He says this fight is not over till I say it's over, but Scuffed Gamers are saying, no, sir, it is over.
Yeah, the committal of those two ultimates, the Matrix and the Blizzard late in the fight is really costly here for Apollo. Otherwise, they could have come in with basically 6 ults into another fight if they just like reset in that moment instead. Now they're going to be staring down the barrel of 6 ults on the other side. And despite the firepower that they have to bring to bear, like they're going to have to outplay Scuffed Gamers by a pretty significant margin if they want to be able to take this.
Well, here comes the grab. CVG dies to their own pulse bomb. No, that's not how we want this to start off, especially now that we've invested all of our ultimates if you're Apollo Esports, and you're just getting routed. 2 ults for Scuffed Gamers compared to 4 from Apollo, and they still lose the fight. No.
This is really problematic now for Apollo Esports. You're down to a minute left, and Scuffed Gamers, they looked like they might have been sleeping a little bit on map number 1, but the beast has woken up and they are ready to fight.
That they are, and down goes Papa Joe. Gonna go down early. Pork has the energy to get the damage in, but I don't know if it'll be enough. The Shatter won't get any value from BTL5, so that's 1 ultimate negated. Origin is gonna fall a trade for Risu, which will favor Apollo, but there's still all the ultimates. You have the Blizz, you had the Diva Bomb, and now Apollo
they're hanging on to it. They don't want to commit it just yet. They want to hold these ults to the last fight.
Reset's gonna go down. Here comes Z-Star with the Blizzard. But Golden Blizzard will get eaten. The answer to anything was eaten. But CVG and Pork are both gonna get the pick. The Diva Bomb gonna get thrown in. It'll get a pick. CVG will go down as well, and it's gonna be a brawl on the point. It's the Reinhardt versus the McCree. The grab is gonna get thrown in from Pork, and they'll just make it. Just.
Indeed, that was nerve-wracking for Apollo Esports, as they were really on the wrong end of so many of those early fights. Some mis-execution from Apollo and some punishment from Scuff made that one very close, but Pork kind of staying alive through that final fight. High energy gets the Graviton Surge, and they buy just enough time.
The beam is going to come in from Donley, but Koala's already demeched. And, the ice block, I think, might have protected a member of Scuffed Gamers, but the picks are already coming through. Risu and Pork both going to find one. Risu will find another, and just charging through, as now Donley will reset. And Risu will pick up a 3rd kill on another team fight victory for Apollo Esports. They're heading closer and closer to point C, with a pretty solid time bank.
No, indeed, and Pork is really starting to assert themselves in this series. We do see an interesting wall there from Golden, not going to be used to buy any space, but that Shatter just completely whiffed from Papa Joe.
The charge is going to come in under the Diva, but Papa Joe's just going to get completely deleted. Not going to get any more value, and now BTL5 has just a complete reign over the Reinhardt 1v1. The beat's gonna get invested Apollo Esports, they are saying we're not out of this yet, but they might have a choice. The Graviton's going to get invested too, but it'll get eaten. Pork, no.
Oh, that's really tough there. Scuffed Gamers should be able to clean up this fight unless
the support duo Risu and Lucette are winning this fight. How are they winning this fight?
Oh, it's out there.
Is going to come out. Domly using the beat, and this Shatter's going to get 3.
No, they got off the point. They got off the point. How? Are you? I could have sworn BTL5 shattered right on top of the point. I'm legit a little confused as to how that C9 happens.
You gave the charge from Papa Joe.
That could cost Scuffed Gamers this entire map. Apollo Esports now have another lifeline here on Route 66. They still got to get to the end of this point. They clean up the fight. Now they have some momentum going. They're going to have ults to work with. This is potentially a monumental collapse here from Scuffed Gamers. It felt like they had it on point A. It felt like they had it on point B, and now they are really behind the 8 ball here.
Oh, CDG. Oh, don't hit him with the flank high noon. Going to get the pick onto Zor. Gonna get the pick onto Raz. And there's just nothing that anyone on Scuffed Gamers can do anything about, as they're now trying to switch to the stall heroes. Will they even be able to get there on time? 3, 2, no. They will be able to get there just barely. BTL5 on the wrecking ball, just trying to come in. All these stall heroes coming in, but there's no support, no sustain. They're just gonna get eaten up and out. And Apollo Esports clutching it. Have I said just clutching it enough? Have I said just to emphasize how close this has been? Just getting this second map here, going up 2-0 in a match point. Just what was that, Koala?
This was just a wild map all around. Like between CGB playing the Widow on the defense and finding a lot of value for it, and then Scuffed Gamers letting that one slip a little bit. The clutch at the end of point B for Apollo Esports was just a sight to behold. What Lucette and Risu were able to do in that moment. It was the 3-man squad, Papa Joe, Risu, Lucette, coming through in such a huge moment there. And despite it all, it still seemed like Scuffed had the fight in the bag. Like when that shatter from BTL5 connected, I thought they were going to be able to get the recontest, stop them short right there and tie up this series. But no, the C9 is heartbreaking for Scuffed Gamers. It's something that is going to haunt this team potentially if they cannot kind of come back in this series. But as of right now, it's Apollo Esports celebrating, not just yet, but getting very, very close. They're up 2-0. They've got 3 chances to close out this series. Just one more map is all it will take to pull off what, yet again, at the beginning of the night seemed like a monumental upset.
I mean, we were just talking about how it seemed like this was a David and Goliath situation, that Apollo Esports, they were coming in, every single metric seemed against them. They had lost to Scuffed Gamers in the winners finals just last week. They had really struggled against an opponent the Scuffed Gamers only dropped 1 map to, and now they're on match point, nay, tournament point. If they win this next match, the next map, they win the tournament. And we're going to have to see if they do that when we come back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. And we're here with the second in what seems to be a series of games that just completely defy our expectations. We do have 2 things that we want to say, because we actually did find out something that we had been saying a bit was in fact wrong Scuffed Gamers and Apollo Esports did meet in the winners finals. However, the 3-0 victory for Scuffed Gamers was actually a forfeit from Apollo Esports, dropping them down to the losers finals. But regardless, Apollo Esports, they had a little bit of they went into that forfeit and had to drop down to the losers bracket, but they've done pretty well so far as they've gone up 2-0 against against Scuffed Gamers. And we're gonna look at in my opinion, we're going to look at why as we look at the two Lucios. And Shy Guy, you actually have an interesting story about Risu, the Lucio for Apollo Esports.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, just like taking a quick look at the stats, we can see like two very different styles coming out from these two players. Like Domley is really like focusing on the healing for the team, trying to keep everyone topped up in these fights, whereas like Apollo has been like go, amp up the speed boost, let's run into fights. I mean, we've seen like Papa Joe over and over and over again, just like slam into the enemy team, going insanely aggressive, and Risu has been right there alongside him, like really, turning up when it comes to the damage statistics, the elims, all of the things on that side. But even perhaps like more impactful than what these stats are telling us is like I actually after the last map, like during the break, I went back and watched what happened at the end of point B on the attack for Apollo Esports when they were able to pull off like that miracle fight, Lucette and Risu popping off in terms of like getting the kills they needed there. But not only that, like Domley was on the point trying to buy time, drops the sound barrier, trying to buy time for the rest of the team to get back there. Right before BTL5 comes in with the giant shatter, Risu gets the boop onto Domley, knocks him off of the point, forces what we originally kind of thought was a C9, but really was just an incredible heads-up play by the main support of Apollo Esports. And like we wanted to give him a little bit of shine in this moment after that incredible moment. Really was the thing that saved that map for Apollo Esports and put them now in this position where they've got 3 opportunities to close out the series. They need just one more map to send Scuffed Gamers home and take the Expert Division title.
That they do, and their first opportunity is gonna be on the one, the only, everyone's favorite hybrid map. It's gonna be on King's Row. And with King's Row, there's definitely a lot of different strategies you can run. There are strategies that are viable. You can definitely run them. But let's be real. The name of the game is gonna be Rush. It's gonna be that Reinhardt, that Zarya, that Lucio, that speedy freight train of damage and just running in onto your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been the matchup that both these teams have more or less just kind of like opted into throughout this series up to this point. There have been like minor details between the two teams, especially for Apollo and some of their DPS picks, going to Golden on the Doomfist and CVG, picking up the Widowmaker. Like there have been some different choices than we normally necessarily expect as far as the DPS goes, but stylistically, like both these teams have very much been the type to just run at you and really try to get up in your face. I mean, we've seen so many what I would normally call like ill-advised charges from Papa Joe throughout this series. And sometimes Scuffed Gamers have been good about being able to punish him for some of those oversteps, but for the most part, his team has been right there to back him up, and they've found a lot of value out of the space that he's creating. Like Pork especially is thriving in those situations where the attention gets diverted away from a high charge Zarya. We'll see if they can kind of replicate that once again as they come out on the attack. They're going to be running the Genji here. I mean, this is a comp that is really going to be about allowing Golden to farm these blades and use the potential Nano Blade combo to try and make something happen. I mean, that TP strat was really cool. I'm not going to lie. I've never seen that before.
They just completely jumped in, but they're gonna leave their team without a Reinhardt again.
Okay, never mind.
They'll go down though, and we're just gonna go down, which could be bad because it's a long spawn distance for Scuffed Ass Gamers. But Genji's caught in the back line.
Yeah, but I mean, Koala and we see Koala and Domley just kind of hunting him down for the time being. Golden goes very low, does get out to a mega health pack somewhere. I'm not sure if he retreated deep into the back line or now is in the thick of the fight. There he is. Okay, I wasn't sure which mega he went to.
There. He's there to take. He's just there to help his team out. He's right in that good position. First take already going to go to Apollo Esports just from that aggression. Almost going to get a second tick, but Z-Sour's going to go down early. Even with the high noon out from Raz, Z-Sour will get taken down. Here comes the Graviton. The beat will be there to help out, but the biotic grenade from Set going to hit Domley is going to make that so much harder, and all the picks are going the way of Apollo Esports. They're going to take this first point, and they're going to set sail to the street space.
Indeed they will, and Golden doesn't even have to use the blade, which is really interesting. Like, they commit the nano to try and help him get the last few percent that he needed, but doesn't even feel the need to pull that one out to close out the fight. And why would you when the team had already done most of the work?
Papa Joe gets BTL5 with the shatter, but it might not be enough. Here comes the blade from Golden. It's gonna get a kill, but Golden will get taken down by BTL5, but all the kills are heading for Apollo. It's just the tank line, and they're gonna get hunted down. BTL5 is on like 1 HP, gonna go down. Koala might just get away though. As this card is going to be moving. Oh no, Koala.
I mean, the good news here for Scuffed Gamers is like they took the fight so early, and Apollo was like so aggressive with how far forward they pushed that there's plenty of time here to recontest, and they've got some ults to make it happen. So definitely not down and out just yet.
Definitely not, but here comes the high noon from Raz trying to get something. Domley's gonna fall early. The graph from 4 is interesting, but just, it's the aggression here. Are they even gonna be able to touch the will? The Blizzard will come in, and did Port just avoid the shatter with the self-damage right click? That was incredible. And good job from Port avoiding that shatter in an incredible way. And 4.5 minutes and a little bit more on the clock for Apollo Esports heading into point C. That's a great King's Row run so far.
Certainly, I mean their fight through Route 66 on the last map was a slog all the way through, but this has been a breeze for them. And you know, as soon as Golden can farm up to another blade, they'll have that combo to rely on.
No,
they're just gonna throw it off the TV
from behind. Just goes for the long range pin. My man was with Aslan, and the White Witch in Narnia comes in with the pin across the map, and the Graviton from Pork is just so far in the back line, and the shatter as well. Why not? Let's just give him everything, and it's still working, is the thing. It's crazy. You would think that it would mean the end of this team. You think that they would be last. You think that they would never be in the finals? Oh, they just nearly kept alive. You think that they would be last? You think that they would be eliminated immediately for trying such craziness as this? But somehow, this team is not only in the finals, they're on match point, and they are seconds away from finishing this map. And
they'll have to wait a little longer though, probably here, as The spawn's just a little too overwhelming there for Scuffed, and you know this has been insanely entertaining. A late pick there on a Raz is going to give an opportunity. It's going to mean Scuffed Gamers basically just have to back up and hold at the cart here. they are in dire straits. Lucette nearing the next nano boost, and this time the blade is ready.
Here it comes, the nano blade. There goes the immortality cut down like it's nothing. Just cutting it down like it ain't no thing. Here comes the slam from the Doomfist, gonna do some damage, take down the turret. That source of damage not gonna be doing anything anymore, but goodbye, CYG!
They might still win this fight. I mean, Pork is on the point, but nope, there's another boop. Domley continuing to put in work here. They keep surviving, and like, you know, that's all it takes at this point. Is Scuffed this game. You gotta try to hold out for as long as possible here. Your goal line stand has to continue for another couple minutes if you want to really give yourself a shot. Papa Joe again in a sneaky position.
He can't keep getting away with this. He can't, Shy Guy. He can't keep getting away with this. The shatter from BTL5 is there, but there's just nothing left. There's no one to follow up. The baby Diva's gonna try. Koala will try, but it's a pittance in comparison to the firepower coming out from Apollo. The Graviton is up on the high ground.
No. The spin to win is here too. BTL5 is on the point.
BTL5 just gets stunned and dropped. There's just not enough left. Papa Joe has the nano, just charging it up, and a minute 30 seconds on the clock for Apollo Esports, finishing with over a minute left, which means Scuffed ass gamers, if they want their tournament hopes to be alive, they need to finish. And if they want to get an attack, if they don't want this to draw, they need to finish with time in the time bank.
Certainly. Like, now the pressure is really mounting here for Scuffed ass gamers. Like, this is where you have to kind of prove yourself. Apollo Esports have, you know, shown over the course of this series that they are not backing down, that they are going to be pressing W constantly. And you have to match that to a certain degree, or at least find a way to answer it. It's a tall task. It's not an easy ask by any means for Scuffed ass gamers, especially when, you know, things have been, you know, most like slipping away over the course of this series for you. It's really hard to collect yourself in this moment. That's exactly what they must do in this moment. They have an opportunity here, and of course, where else would Papa Joe be than right next to the spawn door?
Papa Joe, it is match point. You have all the momentum in your favor. Don't throw it away like this, Papa Joe. No, they're holding at the spawn door.
This is very strange.
SpaghettiOs for Apollo boards.
There's a reason teams don't do that on King's Row. Like, there's maps where you hold at the spawn door. King's Row is not one of them. And, like, yeah, they were hoping, yeah, we can collapse in with the Doomfist and really potentially catch Scuffed ass gamers off guard, but it does nothing of the sort. They just get beat down, and they're still losing players from that first hold. Like, this is gonna have consequences. This is gonna have consequences beyond just like losing point A. This is a massive time bank. This is all of point B, just basically seeded right now to Scuffed ass gamers who are pushing forward and taking advantage of it. I mean, Risu is somewhere like up in the back line. I have no clue what's happening anymore.
This is bizarre. Here comes it.
He's gotta die. Okay.
Goodbye, Risu.
But now, how do they take a fight? They're just gonna get run on now, and they're down a member.
The wall on BTL5 though doesn't hold for long, and he'll survive it just barely. And they're gonna keep going here.
Buys them some time though.
Are they gonna try for the flank shatter when everyone and their grandmother knows they're there? Nope, they're gonna go with the shatter wall combo. And BTL5 is actually going to go down thanks in part to that shatter. Risu will fall as well, and the shatter will come in. It'll get 3. How do they do it? How do they do it, Apollo Esports? They play If I saw this coming out from any other team, I would call it awful, brain dead strategy. But somehow Apollo Esports are making it work.
Sort of. Like they commit a lot to that fight. They throw in the Blizzard and the Shatter, which are like their two biggest kind of offensive tools here in terms of setting up kills. And now they're going to have to worry about a huge response here from Scuffed Gamers, who already have a massive time bank here on King's Row. Like this is still very doable. Papa Joe gets charged out there.
That he does, Papa Joe, and CBG is going to use that seismic slam, and Raz will pull out the high noon, a bit of a zoning ult there, but you know the
Pork uses the self-destruct just for the remake to try and get back into this fight as long with the rest of the team potentially, but gonna get booped away. Can't get the contest to come through, and now. Oh, that was something out of a cartoon right there with Papa Joe coming out of nowhere, but still, 5 minutes on the clock for Scuffed Gamers.
5 minutes on the clock, but you can always see a long hold. I really think Koala, if this ult gets value, is going to be all over, but Koala is going to use the grab, and there's some value there, but the nano onto Papa Joe means he's going to be doing all of the damage, all of the time, but the Death Blossom from Zsor taking down everyone else. The Shatter from Papa Joe will get 4, but there's just no one there to follow it up. And Scuffed Gamers, they're rolling along with over 4 minutes on the clock.
Zsor doing a tremendous amount of work here. CGB going over the Widowmaker for this last point. That's a pick that reeks of desperation a little bit. They feel like they need a miracle, but that's just going to be a sleep onto the Widow of the high ground. She does get woken up and now alive.
Now happening, CBG going to go down already. Golden has this Death Blossom. DTL5 is going to use the Shatter, but going to go down. And there you go. That's just what Apollo Esports needed. They put a stop to this momentum, and goodbye Donnelly. And Scuffed Gamers gonna get team killed. And Apollo Esports, they can hold very long here. I mean, we saw Scuffed Gamers do it. We'll have to see if Apollo Esports can turn that around.
Yeah, the thing the best thing going here for Scuffed Gamers is I mean, is Golden gonna change heroes or something? I'm not sure what that was, but Scuffed Gamers, they've got so much time. They can play this patiently, build up ults and work from there. So yeah, it was just an easier way to get back to spawn there for Golden, but maybe should have stuck to the Reaper.
Maybe, as Raz is going to immediately get some hits with that Peacekeeper. Here comes the... Oh, Origin's gonna go down to the window, fire and strike, and Papa Joe is just... It's a wondrous thing to see Papa Joe. And Golden's on the Bastion, gonna get the kill on the Z-Sword. Why not?
Yeah, so does he stick with this? I mean, that seems like the plan right now. This is really fascinating. It's going to force Scuffed Gamers to really make some alterations. Oh, I love. Yes. That's exactly what you need to do. You can't just play the Bastion standard. You can't expect to hold for 2 minutes with that. But if you can reposition with this TP, then it's definitely possible. Donnelly gives their life just to boot the Rhine off the high ground. That's dangerous.
Oh, Golden goes down. Raz takes that shot with the high noon, and Pork is also going to go down.
BTL5 going low.
They need to get something. Lucette will fall. Raz is going to go down, though, and like I said, it's just so hard when you're so close to the enemy spawn to get the wins. When you have one person go down, it can just seal the deal. It can be the end. I think Papa Joe's waiting for them to come in. Here comes the beat. They're going to engage in, and now it's going to be a close... BTL5 is going to get charged, and oh, they nearly C9. They nearly did an actual C9 Donnelly. And did Papa Joe just try and push Golden off the map?
Yep, he absolutely did. Trolling his teammate a little bit there. I love this dude. This has been one of the most entertaining players I've gotten to witness, and you know, where else would he be right now when he's got the Shatter in tow but waiting around an unsuspected corner?
They don't see him. They don't see him at all. No one sees him. He's gonna get slapped. But there's just nothing they can do, Apollo Esports. You can't do them like this. You can't.
Okay, though, that once mighty time bank is nearly gone here for Scuffed Gamers, and this needs to be it. This needs to be the fight here. Pork is demeched and having to jump off the map here to reset towards the tail end. CBG getting caught out by the Zarya. This is their moment. They've got the numbers. They've got the ults in tow to make something happen here.
They need to make something happen. Here comes Zsor with the Dragon Strike, the wall from a CBG. Gonna get something.
And blocks the shatter.
Will get nothing. It'll get nothing. Here comes the high noon from Raz, just trying to get anything going. But Raz, Scuffed Gamers, they need to finish this map soon. The card's pushing. But Apollo Esports, all they need to do is hold 7 seconds, and they can just get a free attack.
3, 2,
1. They just get it! They just get it! No way!
1 second is all it takes there, and
all they need.
I don't want to like be mean or like call someone out here, but I'm not even sure which of the DPS was. I assume it was Golden who went back to the Bastion there at the tail end. I actually didn't even notice in all of the craziness. But if they go to a pick that is anything else, if they go to a Tracer, if they go to a Soldier 76, they go to a Genji, they go to pretty much anything, a Mei, like you can get on the point and you can stall those last 2 seconds. Instead, they were sitting next to their spawn door while their teammate died on the point and they died as well. I mean, that could be the difference here. That could keep Scuffed Gamers in this series potentially. That one little mistake. But first, they're going to have to deliver on the offense because they are down in the time bank when it comes to these extra rounds pretty significantly. 1.5 minutes is a pretty big difference when it comes to these extra rounds, and it's going to be really nerve-wracking now for Scuffed Gamers.
That it is, they need to get anything going. They're switching to Raz on the Widowmaker, probably just trying to get some early picks. Actually going to go onto the McCree. Almost a complete mirror here. The few key differences in the support and the DPS category between these two teams, and it's really one fight here for Scuffed Gamers. They need to get something going, and we'll see what they can get for them. Papa Josie's going to jump over the side.
Come on.
They saw you.
Oh, the wall!
They walled him up, but Origins, that's gonna get the kill. He's gonna say, no, Papa Joe.
No one else there?
For your tricks. Your tricks and traps will not work against us anymore. Donnelly's gonna get the pick onto Risu, and now Scuffed Gamers, they're gonna take this first point unless Apollo Esports come in with a quick recontest. They won't. And now it's Halo time, but BTO can come behind the wall. He's gonna go down early, and that's just not good.
Now they're gonna fight
here. The fight. That's gonna be it. This card's just going to pop out of the. It's gonna pop out of the doors, only to get stopped right there. And there you have it. Apollo Esports. They know what they need. They know what they must do. They need to capture point A, and then basically not immediately fall off.
Okay, so no matter what shenanigans like Apollo Esports and Papa Joe in particular get into, like whether it's the spawn door hold here on King's Row in round 1 or that bizarre ice wall play where only the Rhine essentially goes up to the high ground, no matter what they do, like the mistakes they make, they're not getting punished, or like even when they get punished in the moment, they always get right back up and find an answer. And well, let's. I mean, it's possible. Like, I think this team has already shown that they are willing to meme to an extent, and just kind of do things for the lulz. And like this is not unheard of on King's Row. Like the Bastion sim, you can TP up to the top of the statue, or you can work your way around the high grounds using that teleporter. Like it's not completely ridiculous, but it does show a little bit of like a lack of respect here to an certain extent from Apollo Esports. They are not going to be just going with the standard stuff here.
Yeah, you can do it, but that's something you see in like a gold, diamond, platinum ranked game, not in the championships. Not in the championships already. Apollo Esports going to be pushing on the point as gold is just laying down the covering.
Oh, the bio.
These are going to fall early, and there's just... I think they're playing this really smart, actually. They're using
no one can touch him.
They can't touch him. They're using the Bastion as a covering fire to cover their aggression. They're just pushing so far.
And now, they've given up point A.
They need to get those recontests fast because it's 8.
But how do you fight here? Like,
how do you fight here? You have to go through the point.
You have to walk right into the Bastion. I mean, Golden needs to get set up here. He's right in front of the choke. BTL5 is down.
They're just all gonna fall. Koala, BTL5 will go down. Gold is going to fall though. This could be it. There's no one on the point. Apollo, the god of poetry, and what we saw today, it was bizarre, but it was poetry in motion. Apollo Esports will be your GGNA, your GitGud North American Expert Division champions. What even?
Yeah, I mean, you say this is poetry in motion. It's something kind of like, one of those E. Cummings poems that's just like jumping all over the page. The lines aren't the same length. The rhymes kind of halfway make sense, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful to behold, and that was definitely the case here for Apollo Esports. They put on a show here today. One of the most entertaining teams I've seen all season long here in GitGud NA, and like. No, it wasn't like the close contested like 5-map down to the wire series that we always want out of our grand finals. But at the end of the day, that's a great way to end the season, to go out with a bang. Apollo Esports, thank you so much for what was a really, really fun series.
Thank you so much. That was amazing to cast. I mean, if we're talking about MVPs,
I can't
say anybody else.
Go ahead.
I can't say anybody else. I mean, there's, maybe there were people that played it that maybe he made some plays that were completely out of his mind, that no reasonable person would play. But I would say flip that around. Maybe he's just so big brain, so giga brain, that Papa Joe, he knows things that other people, that us lowly casters, couldn't even dream of comprehending. His goals are beyond our simple machinations. And he won, didn't he? He won.
He absolutely did. Like, the proof is in the pudding there after that 3-0 sweep. Apollo Esports. They come away with the title here today. They come away with the enduring respect of both you and me for sure, and I hope the viewers at home as well. Like, this was just a pleasure to watch, and indeed, Papa Joe, your viewer's choice MVP here today. I mean, look at these numbers. 40 elims on King's Row is absolutely wild.
Oh my gosh, 40 elims, 15,000 damage done, some 18 final blows, 7 shatters, all of them from completely random places throughout the map. I feel like he just printed out a map of King's Row, pinned it to his wall, took a blindfold to his eyes, and just like threw darts and be like, I'm gonna shatter from there, and there, and somehow it worked. It was incredible. It was amazing. And like I said, his goals were beyond the simple machinations of my mind.
Yeah, Bumper would absolutely be proud of the performance that Papa Joe put in here today. It was vintage, Reinhardt aggression from start to finish for this player, and he was the pace setter for Apollo throughout the day. Like, everybody on this team obviously came to play. Like, when you get a 3-0 win like that, you know that you're getting great contributions from up and down the roster. But it takes a special player like that to be able to really set the tone in the way that Papa Joe did. And I mean, alongside him, I do also like really want to credit Risu and Golden. Like, Risu on the Lucio was always right there beside his Rhine, going in deep. And obviously Golden, especially when he was on the Doomfist, was doing a lot of work as well to really enable that and follow up on what Papa Joe was doing. And like, there's a thing that gets said often, and it's become like something of a cliche amongst the esports teams in general, is like, it is better to have 6 players on the same page making an insane decision to go all in than it is to have half of your team doing one thing and half of your team doing another. Like, even if it's not necessarily always the right choice, like that kind of style can win you games, and that's exactly what happens here for Apollo Esports. Is they just are too powerful here on the day.
Absolutely, they were too powerful, too strong for any other members, for the members of Scuffed Gamers to handle. The Giga Brain tactics were there, and with that is the end of the GitGud limited tournament.
Yeah,
are completely done. All 8 divisions of EU and NA all done, and incredible games. We saw the conclusions of 2 of them, but some incredible plays. I'm very happy that I got to be a part of it. I know anyone who worked on it who worked on this project will be hopefully right there with me in being pretty proud of the product we've put on. Of course, thank you to the sponsors, Vite Ramen and ExpressVPN, for sponsoring and making this tournament possible. We really couldn't have done it without them, and we are so thankful for them.
Absolutely.
And Shy Guy, we're done with limited tournament, but what's next?
Yep,
what's next for GitGud?
As fun as this has all been here to do the limited tournament run, it's getting time for us to get back to our roots, to have these season-long competitions where we can really sink our teeth into all of the action, allow these teams to really get to know each other over the course of a season, and develop their skills. That's what GitGud is all about. So of course, normal GitGud seasons will be back shortly. But if you want a kind of a sneak preview, a taste of what is to come, do not go anywhere. We're going to roll the credits after we get out of here, and then a special teaser for the next season of GitGud will be coming up in just a few minutes. But now it's time for you and I to bid adieu, to say thank you to anyone and everyone who tuned in at any point of this season of GitGud, and we'll hopefully be along for the ride in the futures. Big congratulations to both of our teams here today, Azure Eagles Academy and Apollo Esports, who come away with the intermediate and expert division titles respectively. But now it's time for us to go. The lights are going down, and K-Wing, it has been an absolute pleasure here today to cast alongside you, to bring these games to the viewers. So now it's time for us to say goodbye here.